I first met Rachel at a masquerade ball. I was there doing photos and peddling my wares for more work. The meeting was brief, but in that moment, I knew Rachel was someone I wanted to work with in the future. Lo and behold, several months later, as I was planning for future shoots and casting for the role of Lena, our mutual friend Jade had suggested she try out. I honestly can't say who contacted who first, but as soon as we started talking about the character and Rachel delivered her pre-recorded audition, I knew I had found my Lena. The history of the character is deep and goes all the way back to when I first started writing Bleeder back in 2010. She quickly became the first season's main villain, and to this day, she's always been one of my favorite characters to write for. But I always knew that Lena was also the type of character that, if not handled with care, could come off as cheesy or too funny. Sure, there's fun to be had here, she is a villain after all, but my intention with her character was to always have her be scary, someone you feared, someone you knew was toying with you, and could kill you in a split second. Simply put, if she wasn't playing just right, she could break the show. If she was played correctly, on the other hand, she could bring something special to the series as a whole, and possibly become a fan favorite. Her character has evolved a lot over the years, finally culminating in the performance that Rachel has provided and worked hard to bring to life. Sadly, as of this recording, we had to make some changes. Rachel and her new family are moving away, and unfortunately the controller doesn't have it within our budget to fly her back and forth. Not yet, anyway. But that is the ultimate goal, to be the most successful independent show ever made. While we've had to make some creative decisions lately that change the dynamic of how the character works, I'm actually quite pleased with the upcoming revamp. I'm even more pleased that Rachel will still be on board to play the character in the future. One of the things I've loved about hanging out with Rachel is that our conversations are always fun and insightful. Often it feels like we could talk for hours, tossing around ideas and discussing the finer points of Lena as a character, and this conversation is no exception. So, sit back in your favorite chair, pop in your earbuds for a nice jog, and give it a listen. This is Bleedercore. Welcome to the Bleedercore podcast live recording, and this is the podcast where I invade the cast and crew of my show, The Controller and Bleeder, and interrogate them.
Hi,
I'm going to say
TikTok.
hi over here too. Hello, TikTok. I said TikTok, I think. It's TikTok.
It is.
I am here with Rachel Scully. She plays Lena in the show, and we are here to answer your questions as well as just kind of chat with each other about the show. And for those of you who may or may not know, this is also kind of a redo. We attempted this a while back, and I dropped the ball like hardcore. I did not come fully prepared. I was missing gear. But yeah, I had forgot to bring certain gear with me, including a memory card. I forgot like the single most important thing you can have for recording audio, a memory card.
I think that's the single most important thing to record anything.
Yeah, really. But this time, by golly, I came prepared. If you're not familiar with the show, The Controller is a new series. It's a vampire series that I started writing about 15 years ago, and Rachel is a part of that.
I am. Hello, TikTok people. I know it's been a while. If you end up having any questions about the show that we're talking about today, go ahead and ask them, and we'll try to answer them as best we can. We're like live streaming on 5 different platforms right now, so if we miss it, I'm sorry.
Yes. That was not originally part of the plan. That was something that we just kind of came up with last second to just do, or last, I can't say last second. It was like an hour or two ago when we talked about it. But we had come up with the idea of streaming on multiple platforms. Normally, I only do this on the fan page for The Controller, which is on Facebook, by the way. If you're watching from a different platform, you can hop on over to Facebook and look up at The Controller. That is where you can find it.
Yeah. For those of you on TikTok, there is a TV series that we're making. It's called The Controller series. It's about vampires and all the fun we're having there. I play Lena, Mistress Lena.
Mistress Lena, or Countess Lena, or
whatever I feel like calling her.
Yes, whatever her name is that day.
Well, whatever her name is tends to match her outfit, too.
It does. It has a tendency to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it since we've got viewers on a couple of platforms. Facebook is always the slow one to the party for some reason. But please make sure leave comments, ask questions. We're here to answer those questions.
We are. That is what we are here for.
Yes. But I'm going to jump in with my first question. My first question right off the bat. How did you first get involved with the show?
With the show, the Bleeder Show? Mm-hmm. So when I first moved up here, I was trying to make friends. So I joined a couple of different groups like Black Hills Con and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And in the people who were participating in Black Hills Con, there were a couple of people who were also doing your Bleeder Show. And one of them came to me and she's like, hey, there's auditions for a TV show coming up. Did you want to try for it? I think you'd be really good in it. And I'm also like, yeah, sure. So she sent me your contact info and we talked, and that's kind of how it happened. Is I was told you needed somebody and I called up. It was really fun. It was definitely difficult at first because I'd never thought about playing a villain before. Yeah. So when you're all like, yeah, I'm looking for a villain character, I was like, okay.
Like you said, you never played a villain before. Like, what kind of characters have you played in the past?
Mostly goody two-shoes. The very first character I ever played was described as a 99.9% good witch. That was like the whole premise of the play was throughout the play she was slowly becoming more evil. Oh. And she starts off as a really good witch, and then by the end she's lost so many points of goodness that she's useless to the main character.
What was going through your head during the audition process? Like, I don't think I asked you this last time, and I kind of wanted to ask you this now. Like, that experience at the time, because you recorded it and sent it off. It wasn't like a live audition.
I don't think I could tell you how many times I redid that before I sent it to you. What was going through my head mostly was, am I doing this right? Does this sound okay? Do I sound evil? I think one of the reasons I dressed up for my little audition that I sent you is because I needed to like get into the mindset of that character, because I'm not an evil person. Like, you know, anatomy books, how they have some of those grotesque images of like when you have to dissect a frog or something. I can't even touch those pictures. I am that like icked out by that kind of stuff. And I don't like being a mean person or anything. So when I was handed the script where I had to like be rude and evil and just creepy, I was all like, I don't know how to do any of that. It was just like
an interesting question.
Had to do it like several times before I sent it to you, before I was even like halfway okay with what I did.
So like so you've been cast as goody two shoes characters in the past. This is really your first major villain role.
Well, I did do one in Dracula where I was one of the brides, but I got that role about the same time I got Lena role. So it was kind of like within the same month time frame. I was cast as two separate villains, and I was just like, okay, we're expanding out from the goody two shoes.
And both vampires.
Very much so.
There seems to be a running theme here. Tell me a little bit about your history with film and theater.
For theater, I've been doing that since high school, which my high school reunion was just a couple months ago. So it's been like 10 years. I've been doing theater since high school. I started the theater troupe in my high school. I think it was sophomore or junior year, we got a new English teacher, and she apparently had been a theater teacher in college, and she went down to high school, and she was telling stories about how she used to do theater and how she taught theater and all that. And I was like, I've always wanted to act. Let's see what goes on here. So I asked her, I was like, hey, if I start a theater troupe, will you be our director person that we need? Because we needed an adult in order to do that. So I asked her, and she's like, okay. So I went up to the front office and I'm like, what do I need in order to make a theater club? And they're all like, you need 10 people and a teacher. And I'm like, I got a teacher and one person. So like the next 2 days I went around the school and I was like, hey, does anyone want to try theater? Does anyone want to do drama? Does anyone want to try any of this? And I got 10 people within like the first day, and they were all ready to go, and they're all like, let's do this. So I went to the theater teacher and I was like, okay, what do we need? And she went to the principal, and the principal's like, you have $100 to work with, which is way less than what most scripts cost to perform. So we had to go digging around for like a free script, and it ended up being, it was called Hocus Pocus, not to be mixed up with like the movie. Right. It was nothing like the movie. Well, with Hocus Pocus, it was about the 99.9% Good Witch, and because we had such a small cast, nobody auditioned. Mm-hmm. It was everyone chose a character they wanted to do, and if two people chose the same character, that's when they auditioned. Nobody wanted to be the main character, which was the Good Witch. I was all like, I can try it. So 50 pages later, I'm the only one with more than 10 lines. And I memorized basically the thing in a month because I was so excited for it. And we set a date for everything. We were ready for the first thing, and nobody knew their lines but me. So we ended up having to push back the play by I think it was 3 weeks. And by the time we got there, it was good, but it was very, very rough for our first play. And nobody knew how to run the lights because no one had ever even known we had lights. No one had ever touched the costumes in the costume closet in years. By the time I left high school, though, they had rebuilt the middle school at the time, and they actually put in a stage because the drama troupe had become so popular that they had to. We had a class during the daytime, we had a thing after school, and it was just super cool to see it grow from that point. After high school, though, when I got into college, and the first thing I wanted to do was join a writing thing. So there was this subclass that I could take as an elective and get an elective point, and it was for script writing. So I went into that, and I learned how to write a script from a dude who had written scripts for Star Trek.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he had written some of the stuff for Deep Space Nine. So he taught us how to write scripts, and it was super duper fun. And I got to learn all that. And we wrote our own little script for the show for Star Trek using the characters that we all knew. And then we animated the script and whatnot and learned how to do that. But he was also the teacher for filming. So when he came to us and he's like, hey, my film class is going to do a TV show. We need extras. I went in and I basically became a gopher for them. I ran for coffee. I sat in a ditch underneath a door. I did basically whatever they asked and hiked up half of Colorado's mountains just to carry their gear for them. So I carried their gear, I did the things, and when they needed someone in the background, I was sitting in the back. And when the TV show actually came out, they did a whole showing, they entered it in contests and whatnot. Me and my friends would sit in the audience and go, "Where's Rachel?" We played a Where's Waldo version with the TV show because we're just where am I in the background?
Right. And
I had a whole notebook filled with doodles because we had to sit there and redo scenes. So I was just sitting back there pretending to write when I was just scribbling all over my notebook.
Nice.
But after that, I moved up here, and I found out that there was a theater troupe up here, the Seraphim Theater, mm-hmm. and they were doing a Halloween show. And the moment I heard it was Dracula, I was like, I'm there.
We were just talking about this earlier about the classic monsters and stuff too, and how that's one of our favorites.
Yeah, I love the classic monsters: Dracula, mm-hmm. Frankenstein, the Loch Ness Monster. They're my favorites.
Nice.
And nothing ever beats the Addams Family and the Munsters, though.
I love both. They are great. Tell us about Lena. Who is she? I mean, what is her role in the show?
Lena is a mystery wrapped in an enigma. You're not quite sure who she is, what she's doing, where she is, how this works. She's bad just from the moment you meet her. She is someone you do not get along with on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. Someone you don't want to run into in a dark alley, ever. What she does is, not quite drive the story, but she is there as, the reason the story is happening type of mm-hmm. thing. The way I see her is she's, this person you're going to love to hate. Mm-hmm. And the way she the way she interacts with other characters, you kind of want to cringe, but at the same time, you know that that's just who she is. She messes with people. She says lover, and is everything about her is just supposed to creep you out. And I can't wait for her first interaction with Cece, where Cece finally gets to like see what she's up against.
That's actually another one of my questions: is how do you see and how would you describe the relationship between those two characters?
With Lena and Cece, I see them as like this two sides of the same coin. Cece is the detective and the goody good who's supposed to like change things and find the bad guys and lock them up and get rid of them or hide the body. She's the one you call to hide the body. Lena's the one who leaves the body there. With Lena, you see her, she's the villain. That's all that defines her. She's the bad guy. She's the one that probably spit on your cookie.
I like that. That's a very, I think, very accurate description. It looks like we have a question from Patty.
Do you think the horror genre offers better opportunity for women?
Yeah. I don't know necessarily about better. I think it kind of depends on how you look at it. People kind of make a really weird distinction these days. Like women have always kind of led horror to a degree. I would say at least from the 80s on. In the 70s was kind of starting to lean that way, but like the final girl, the hero is almost always a woman. Like
wasn't
constantly.
Frankenstein written by a woman? Like wasn't she the author of like the original stuff?
Well, Mary Shelley, yeah, she wrote the book, and I don't know if she had anything to do with the movie though, but.
No, she was dead long before the movie happened. Yeah. But like the original Frankenstein, she was like the modern. She was the mother of like modern.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, the mother modern, and that doesn't surprise me either. Like a lot of women were the directors and writers of classic films. Like people don't even realize it actually, especially in the earlier days, before the Hollywood studio system. Or the studios came in and started turning it into a product and stuff like that. It was most of the filmmakers, the ones who were experimenting at the time, were women. Like I'd say more than half actually were women, and they were making great things and great movies. And then the studios kind of came in, and then that's when they started to push them out or turn them into ghostwriters, and there was all the exploitation going on. And I think like ultimately horror. I mean, getting back to the question, it's perhaps a little off topic, but not much. I think that women have always kind of led horror as far as the characters go and as far as a lot of the great stories that we've heard over the years.
I think they're missing out on some stuff too, because when you look at the horror genre, the girls are normally the victims. You almost never see them as like the bad guys, other than Chucky's Bride or The Bride of Frankenstein. Like they're always the sidekick, the love interest. They're never the horror, the main bad guy.
What's the biggest challenge of the character?
The biggest challenge of the character is bringing out my inner rage. With Lena, she has two modes. She has light Lena and dark Lena. With the light, she's playful, she's fun, she's messing with you because it's entertaining. But with dark Lena, where I have to like become serious and angry and like just furious and yell at people, it's so difficult. It's so hard not to smile because I'm naturally always smiling. I'm very much a Disney princess. I know people hate, you can't be that kind of girl, you're not Disney, and I am a Disney princess. I like wearing the dresses, I like wearing the heels, I like doing all that. And then Lena's just like, when she gets angry, she's scary.
Yes.
And getting into that mindset of I need to be actually mad at this person or irritated and change Lena's mode from light to dark. It's so difficult for me because I just don't know how to do it. When I was in high school, the character I was playing was the 99.9% Good Witch. By the end of the show, she was supposed to start screaming and yelling at people. I had never yelled at someone before. Like, literally never been in a fight, never punched someone in the face, nothing.
She does. She starts to get really mean. You start to see the darker side of Lena the more we get into chapters 2 and 3 of the story. And obviously that's intentional because she should be scary. She should be a very scary person. I think I'm down to one of my last questions for you, and what has been your favorite part of the production so far?
Favorite part? I think the rooftop scene that we did, where we got to see like the full effect of some of the special makeup and the blood and whatnot, and then going to eat right afterwards, still covered in blood and whatnot, and with vampire teeth in, and my eyes super red.
We went to Que Pasa right after, because it was like right below the parking ramp here in Rapid where we filmed, and yeah, it was interesting to go in there. I like to see people's faces when you're still covered in blood and special effects and go into a restaurant and sit down.
I had never done that before, and I was like half blind at the time because the contacts I was wearing weren't prescription.
Yeah.
So it was just like you were leading the blind in and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really fun to sit there and like their double takes are always fun.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I dress the way I dress, is so I can get those double takes going, wait, what? Just past me?
I think I'm going to wrap it up. But it has been fun. I've enjoyed the conversation, and I can't wait to share this, put it up on YouTube and everything. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody watching and hanging out with us tonight. If you have any further questions, you're welcome to leave them, and we can always get back to them at a later time. I appreciate it.
And do group one with some other people, so it's not just us talking to ourselves.
Yes, I'm going to have to invest in some more mics.
Borrow some of mine.
Yeah, there you go. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yes.
As usual.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye-bye.